Welcome to A Funny Thing Called Business. This is for business owners with over 30 years collective experience under our belts, sharing the capers and triumphs of running a small business and how we now avoid perilous customer chaos and pitfalls. And this month, ladies and gents, we are talking about Giggles. So I'm Clare Whalley. We also have
Darren Langley,
Kate Curry,
Pete Morgan.
Brilliant, guys. Welcome to our lovely podcast this morning. I hope you've all brought along with you your best goal stories, goal setting, goal planning, and all those faux pas perhaps that you have when you're goal setting. So let's kick straight off, no pun intended, with what's your favourite memory or experience that you can share in your business when it comes to goals? Pete?
I think mine was kind of at the beginning of 2020. So, you know, it was kind of January, February. I'd been a couple of weeks earlier to an excellent goal setting workshop. Mm-hmm. And for those that don't know, Claire does a yearly goal setting workshop. So it was kind of January, and I was just kind of getting my goals ready for 2020. And I was like, right, what I'd really like to do, one of the goals was just increasing the kind of customer base, the regular client base by maybe 50%. And that's what, you know, and I was like, okay, I think that's doable. Do it maybe over 6 months rather than over the year. And then obviously the world fell apart. And it was, I know it's not been great for everyone, but my client base went up by about 800%. So it was like, all right, let me just cross that out. That's what I meant, 800%. I didn't mean up by 50%. So yeah, that's one of the big kind of, well, you know, didn't even think it could get like that.
So how did you celebrate, Pete?
I just ate
Quiet night in.
a lot of cake. A lot of cake got ate. A lot of biscuits.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
Brilliant. That is so good. So good. Kate, what about you?
Well, my relationship with goal setting and planning did not start off the best in my life. And when I was younger, I was all about just, let's be spontaneous. Mm-hmm. So it'd be like, what should we do this weekend? Let's drive to Wales. Why? What's the goal? What's the point? There's no goal. We get there. What should we do now? Drive back again. We're mad, we are. Absolutely mad. Anyway, it was only after I sort of left employment and set up my business, and even it was a little while after that, actually, that I discovered the importance of goal setting and planning for the future. And I now feel a little bit like, you know, when you buy your first house and you start to get excited by the tea towels that you put in your kitchen and things like that.
Yes.
I'm like, no,
Darren, do you know that feeling when you start to get excited by the tea towels?
I actually do. I have favourite tea towels. Yeah.
Good.
It's just like when you suddenly realise that this thing that I thought was boring is actually really exciting. And I think that's when you become a proper grown-up. So I feel like I've arrived now in my 40s. I'm now finally a proper grown-up, understanding the importance of goal setting and planning for the future.
I love it. Do you think it's just a business thing? That people in business set goals and it's part of our world?
No, well, who knows? Who knows what other weird people who work for people do?
I'd still be just driving to Wales and back for no reason if I hadn't set up a business that made me like address that maybe this is a problem.
I've said to my wife, so what are the goals for, you know, the next 5 years for just our lives, what we're doing? Yeah. What?
What you want about? Oh, but it's a business
I just want to get through the
thing.
weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, fine.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, it is just from my point of view, it's just a business thing.
So what about you, Darren? What's a good experience you've got, or funny one that you can share?
Yeah, I mean, my favourite goal experience was John McGinn, 25 yards out, hit it on the volley, top corner. I may have misunderstood the brief when we were talking about goals.
Not that kind of goal.
That's just typical. Brilliant. But other than that, I mean, obviously my favourite experience when it comes to goals and setting planning things out, and I'm sure we can all agree he's ticking them off afterwards. That's
Yes,
the,
it's the best bit.
You're great at that, aren't you, Darren?
I am. I think we all do. We'll write down a few goals, and we easily achievable. We can do that, can't we? And just like tick them off as soon as possible. But yes, I think you're right. I think it's interesting, isn't it, when you're saying about like, do people in business set goals, or does everybody set goals? I guess it's a different mentality for each. But I'm just thinking now, I do set a lot of goals in my private life as well as business life. Now I've got Trello boards, obviously, set up that planned out the next 25 years of my life, and hopefully I'll be able to plan a few more in after that. But I haven't quite got that far. So I kind of reached a point where I'm just planning for lots of stuff in the future. I think it's important to have.
It's music to my ears. That is.
I'll become a
That
planning.
makes me feel all warm inside.
Yeah. That's it. I'll become a planning pervert.
That's next
I was gonna
episode.
But you're not feeling that warm inside now, are you, Claire? No,
I feel a bit icky now.
Yeah,
Been violated.
yeah.
See, my favourite goal, I think recently has been a personal goal because, coming through the pandemic, I was really, as someone who travels a lot, I was really missing adventure and getting out there. So me and my husband Rob did a Via Ferrata in the Lake District.
Ooh.
Never done anything like that, really. And I did. Oh, Kate's looking at me confused. So you have like these little staples on the side of a cliff. Yeah. I didn't, and I did the extreme version, so I didn't look it up before I did it. I thought, this would be great, the great adventure. Went over the edge and I was like, Jesus. It was 3 hours of vertical descents and overhanging descents. And
With just a stapler.
And lads,
One of those staple removers.
And for some of it, because I'm quite short, I couldn't reach them all.
Oh
So
my
I was-
God.
By the end of it was the hardest thing I have ever done. But at the end of it, I was like, oh my God, if I can do that, I can do anything. I can overcome and conquer any fear.
Yeah, because I think my next challenge after that would have just been, you know what, my next challenge is to stay at home and maybe watch Channel 5. Never watched Channel 5 before. Just watch it for half an hour. That's incredible, Claire.
Yeah, I've got a new goal now to never do that.
Yeah.
It's
think we can
ridiculous. You
collectively
need
say
to
that.
look it up, Via Ferrata at Lake
The thing
Honister.
about goals, though, it makes you surprise yourself.
It does.
So I did write, actually, at one point, when I realised the importance of planning and goals, I wrote a 3-year business plan as part of a course I was on, and I did look at it afterwards, I promise, but not for a while. And it was only when I sort of went back and revisited it, and it was like all those things that I wrote in there that I thought I'd never achieve that. I'm not going to like double my turnover, and I'm not going to become an employer and get my own office space and all of that. As if those things will happen, and all of them did. They all did, and so I've surprised myself that actually, setting these goals has made me grow as a person as well.
I've become a big believer in, in the kind of the law of attraction and all of that stuff, which I know. Yeah, I know. Yes, you're a fan too. Yes.
The planning pervert's really coming out.
I know,
Isn't it?
this is it. Yeah. Oh dear. So yes, but and it's exactly that. It's like I now have my kind of vision board.
Oh my God,
placed,
Darren.
Yeah, placed in a location where I'll see it quite frequently, above the toilet. So, and you can see them, and it's just amazing when you're sort of looking at them and you're thinking, that seems like an obtainable almost, but it's there, and you never know. And then the ones that have been achieved, it's like, well, how did I achieve that? It's like you just can't even sort of imagine yourself back then thinking that's the path I'm going to take to achieve that goal, but that's the path that we took to get there, if you know what I mean. And so it's a bit like ticking them off. You kind of, haven't.
Do you keep your vision boards? Like when you move on year to year?
I have the same one, yeah. Well, because most of mine are for like 25 years in the future, and a few more local goals. But I also have things on there that I'm grateful for. So I usually try and keep things on there that I've achieved, leave them on there and be grateful for them, kind of thing.
Every time you go for a wee, I love that.
Yeah. Well, what else are you going to do? So yeah, and like having other things I'm grateful for. So I have my company logo on there, and
yes,
kids and wife and stuff. So
I think this is really good. Hopefully, this is really good for people here listening to a man. Sorry to be, pull out the genders, but, I always hear about women who, set goals and do vision boards, and it's really nice to hear it from a male perspective as well, that it works well for you.
Because I think the important thing to hear as well, and I remember me hearing it, is that it's a good practice to make goals, even if, like you say, you're thinking, right, I don't know how that's going to come about. So, or even if you don't know how you've achieved them, and even if you can't draw that line, but just to have a direction, just to have right, this is where we're going as a person, as a business, as a team. Yeah, I think they're invaluable. I think they're great.
Yeah, that's where you can apply the word success to yourself, isn't it? Because how will you know you've succeeded if you didn't set that expectation in the first place?
Totally agree. But we'd be surprised. There are so many business owners who are still not setting any goals, who don't have a real plan and start the year just, we'll see what happens. That blows my mind. So what do you wish you had done differently? Perhaps at the start of your business, was you always setting goals?
Yeah, I wish I'd have set goals.
Yeah.
I literally started in this will be fun. We'll see how we get on. And there was I think I've told the story before about when I met a lady at networking, and she said, so what's the end goal? What's and I was like, what do you mean, what's the end goal? Well, is the idea to build it up, franchise it, sell it on? What? I've not thought past Friday. I just want to get through this week. So I'd never, and I think that's the thing. I wish I'd have kind of set goals earlier, not, because I think I would have achieved more, because I'm very happy with what I've achieved, but because it would have been nice to kind of have that satisfaction of looking back and going, oh, well, I achieved that, and that's what I set out to do, or I surpassed that, and things like that. So, yeah.
See, I always did set goals, but looking back, I didn't set them in a way that I could achieve them. I didn't have any strategy behind, I've set this now. What do I need to do in order to reach it? And I think I was too insular at the beginning. I was too much on my own, just thinking I don't need anybody else. So that's what I wish I'd have done differently. I wish I'd have surrounded myself with more people who thought like me. And I could set goals in a way where I was sharing and helping myself be more accountable.
Is the strategy of how you're going to achieve that part of the goal setting process? Or is it just enough to set the goal?
No. I think, law of attraction, yes, it's great. And, I'm a firm believer in it. But it's also really important to have all the positive mindset behind it, and that was what was missing for me. I was just like, I'll set this, and we'll just say I didn't have the positive.
But some goals are too big, aren't they? Like, how am I going to break that down into something that makes it achievable? It's like the little staples in your rock, isn't it? Without all the staples there, how are you going to get to the top?
I just had a big staple all the way over there on a vertical drop, and I thought, I'll do it, but I didn't. I didn't achieve goals in the beginning.
I think I've always thought that it's kind of like taking a road trip from New York to Los Angeles at night, where where your end goal is LA, and sort of roughly how you're going to get there, but all you can really see is what's in the headlights, and sometimes that journey might involve a detour or two, and you're not quite sure where you're going to be going through Arizona or something. It's like you don't have to know every single stretch of that road, but you're heading in that direction. You just got to kind of follow the signposts, see what's in the headlights, and not run over any deer or anything like that.
Guys, we are getting so wise.
I know, look at this. Hey!
I want to listen to our first podcast again, see how...
We haven't got a clue. Kate, what do you wish you'd have done differently?
Well, very much the same as everybody else, but I think just to add to that is to write it down, because I find for me it's I have millions of ideas in my head all the time, and plans and goals and things like that, and if I don't write it down, it just stays as an idea in your head, and you can't pin it down. You're not accountable to it. It's not.
Can I recommend an app?
Always.
Seriously.
I already use this app, Darren. And
Every
I'm
time he
all over
mentions,
it.
every time he mentions from here on in that particular app,
Yes, we should get.
I'm going to put a little jingle in the episode.
Okay. Trello.
Boopy doop boo boo.
That's what I'm going to put in. Just Claire going boopy doop boop boo.
Are we talking about Trello a lot?
Boopy doop boo boo.
Boopy doop boop boo.
Yes, writing it down is very important because otherwise, it's a dream. It's just a dream in your head, isn't it?
Yes.
This episode is brought to you by Joanna Drinkwater, who is a multi-award-winning chartered accountant, business and finance professional and managing director of Grant McKnight. Grant McKnight is a firm of qualified accountants, tax consultants and business advisors with international Big Four finance backgrounds. This month, they've been talking to clients and local businesses about the financial reporting implications of coronavirus government support. If your company has received any grants, furlough payments or bounce back loans, then you will need to ensure that these are accurately reported in your latest annual accounts. Self-employment income support scheme grants for sole traders will also need to be accounted for in the correct tax return periods. HMRC will be pursuing inconsistent grant reporting, so it's important to get your 2020 and 21 information filed correctly. For further information or to arrange a free, non-committal consultation, please get in touch with Grant McKnight. So in one sentence, what have you learned about yourself or your business through setting goals, Darren?
What have I learned? That's a good question because
Thank you.
Yes, it is a good question. I'm going to just keep saying that until I can think of an answer. It's a good question. That. Very good question. Yeah, good question.
What do you think of this question?
I like it. I like it a lot. Does that help?
Is it a bad question?
I wouldn't say it was a bad question. I'd say it's actually quite a good question.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
Bit too good, maybe.
too good of a question. So there we go.
Excellent. Next question.
No. I mean, learning obviously. At the start of my business, I didn't have a clue in terms of, that even that was an idea. In fact, I remember reading blog posts about setting up a business or whatever, and one of them was talking about, do a business plan. In fact, I think I bought a book about setting up a web design business, and I think there was like a whole chapter. I mean, they weren't very long chapters, talking about here's a business plan, here's how you do it, and I'm pretty confident that I skipped that chapter because
Yeah.
it's just like, I don't know, we'll see what happens, and the real goal was just not to go bankrupt and to stay in business, and which I guess I've achieved because at the moment anyway.
Tick.
Yeah, I can cross that one off for now. And yeah, so it's just the importance of doing it really, and having some ideas of what you want to achieve and how you're going to achieve it is the goal. It's the goal. That's the learning, I would say, if I was going to answer that question that you've asked so
Eloquently.
So well. Yeah, good question.
Mine is, it's all about mindset. That's what I've learned. That how
Good answer.
important
That's
it
a
is.
good
Thank
answer.
you. How important it is to have a positive mindset in it, because I know in the past I've gone into goals knowing that I'm not going to achieve it, that it's a ridiculous goal, it's too big, it's too far. And that's just a ridiculous mindset. Of course you're not going to achieve it. It's like anyone going to run an athlete running a 100-metre race, if they're going into it going, I'm not going to win, they're going to beat me. That is what's going to happen. So the work around how to get a positive mindset for me is probably 80% of what's involved in setting and achieving, being successful with goals.
Great answer.
Thank you. Does anybody else feel like that though about the goal setting, and the importance of positive mindset?
Yeah. No, absolutely. It's because, why are you setting a goal if it's immediately followed by, I'm never going to achieve that? Well, why are you even setting it as a goal
But
then?
I think we'd be surprised at how many people do go into it, which is why lots of business owners don't.
Yeah, because I get the idea of setting something that's going to be a challenge, and where you think, like Darren said before, I don't quite know how I'm going to achieve that, but it's still a goal. It's still something I want to aim for. But just because you don't know how you're going to achieve it, you've still got the mindset of, I'm pretty sure I'm going to, or I'm positive about trying to achieve it. But it's those people that go, okay, so what I want to, I run a small cake making business. What I want to do is get cakes on the moon. It's never going to happen. But, well, why are you even saying it then? What's the point? If you're not even thinking about how that process is going to work, or even being positive about the fact that you're going to try, why have you even written it down as a goal?
Yeah.
Does it become a bit of a poison chalice, bad apple, whatever the analogy
Yes.
is? Where if
poison
you
chalice
chuck
is a good
that
one.
in and say, I'm never going to achieve that, does it then deter you from achieving the other goals that you've set?
Yeah.
That are more realistic.
God, we
it's kind
really
of-
are wise this month, aren't we?
I know,
What has gone on?
What have we been? What's going on here?
It's the last 2 years culminating
Yeah.
in just like we've been through the mill and we're here at the other side, still setting goals, still achieving them, and being very strong about it.
True.
So be realistic, but challenging, I guess. Is
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, for my sentences, I'm better than I think I am.
Ooh, yes.
Because when I
Yes.
first started out in business, I didn't have any goals other than I just need to pay for the Tesco's delivery once a month, and that'll do
Yeah.
me. I was aiming really low, and actually, I think you do need to be quite ambitious with your goal setting. Obviously, not cakes on the moon ambitious, although that's
what-
not a bad
yeah.
idea.
I think
Who
it'd be
knows
great.
what's
Who
around the
wouldn't?
corner?
Exactly.
Jeff Bezos will be there.
and Richard Branson, there's
No.
going to be a few up there.
As long as they can
They
have
need
cakes.
cake.
And they're
You
going
know.
to need cake, yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. The poor guys.
But I think without setting goals and without stretching myself, I would not be the way I am today. So I think it's really important to sort of, you need to be realistic, but you've got to stretch yourself as well. And then it's amazing when you achieve it. I never thought that was possible.
Yeah.
And now, look, it is, and I've done it. So.
I know. Well, you'd be uninspired and demotivated in your business, I think, if you didn't set them.
Yeah.
So how do you celebrate when you're successful at achieving your goals, Kate?
I'd usually have a large porn star martini.
I honestly didn't know where she was going to go then.
Large four star. We just cut off there.
Exactly.
It's a good job we're not on Zoom anymore, isn't it?
Hey, Pete, we need some good editing there.
I'm telling you now.
You're in trouble, bud.
We've got planning perverts and porn star martinis.
Oh, we're going to have to X-rate this episode.
I know.
So what's your biggest challenge right now when it comes to goal setting? And this is an interesting question for you because, we all sound like expert goal setters around the table.
No.
So what's the biggest challenge, Pete?
I think for me, initially it's just what do I truly want for the business? Because yes, in a large part, just like Darren and Kate have said, you're doing it, and there's another guy that I know who says family businesses, which is what we all are. We're all family businesses. All you're trying to do is fill the fridge, and that's just your first goal. That's your initial goal, and then it really is just trying to figure out, okay, so what after that?
Yeah.
All I know is I want the business to get bigger. I want to get better at what I do, I think I'd like to bring on. I've got some freelancers. I'd potentially like to maybe bring one of them on as a member of staff by the end of the year. But it is okay, so their potential goals, are they good enough goals? Are they achievable? And it is that it's not getting too into my own head when sorting out the goals, and kind of trying to second guess myself is the thing of, do I want to do that? Is that the right thing to do, or is it the wrong thing? It is just...
Yeah, if it feels right, it's
exactly.
right.
That's the thing. Go with your gut reaction of, that feels a good goal to put, then put it.
Good advice. For me, it's my biggest challenge is other people around me being fearful of setting goals. So as Pete mentioned at the beginning, I run a goal setting workshop every year around this time. And the amount of people that haven't come for the reason of, I'm scared of setting goals because I never achieve them, is huge, which is why I kind of led this. You'd be surprised at how many business owners don't. Because the goal setting just becomes another stick to beat themselves with. What's the point in setting them when I'm not going to achieve them? And so many small business owners start off their business with that mindset, and it kind of drags through a lot of the business. So what answers have you got for those people who are fearful of setting goals?
That's tricky, isn't it?
I think it's just to start, just to set.
Anything, just start
just
small.
to put one, and again, like Darren said earlier on, put down a couple that are not stupidly like have a cup of tea, but put down something that you're fairly confident you're going to achieve. Because one of the big breakthroughs for me is, I've mentioned before on previous episodes, love playing video games. I don't care. They don't cause violence. They're amazing. But when I put that thinking and that mentality into achieving goals, which is like achieving achievements in a video game, it just brings about that, let's work towards the next one then. Because I like doing it in video games, and now I like doing it with goal setting within the business. It is just start, just put the first one down.
Yeah,
get it
start
done.
anywhere. Yeah, good advice.
Yeah. I never really thought Candy Crush was that violent, though, so.
Yes.
No. It's just as soon as I say I like playing video games, people go, aren't they awfully violent?
I really.
Well, the ones that are violent are 18 certificates, so stop letting your 12-year-old kids play it. How about that?
That's true, isn't it? Totally true. Kate, biggest challenge?
For me, it is combining my business goals with my personal goals.
Ooh, it's good. It's good.
Nice.
So this is just something that's occurred to me recently, that goal setting has to work across all aspects of your life. Otherwise, how you might be achieving goals in your business, but then if your personal planning is going in another direction, then they're not going to complement each other. They need to work together. So just a little shout out here to our lovely sponsor, Grant McKnight, who are having conversations with me on this very subject. And my buzzword for 2022 is finance and planning for that. I've absolutely become tea towel lady. I'm getting so excited by stuff like all these, but having a plan and and having goals and making sure that they all work together so you can achieve them better. And so my vision in a few years' time is like this, amazing thing where my business and personal life, everything is just working together beautifully.
To have a dress and to have a dress made of tea towels. Is
and
that
dress made of tea towels?
Okay.
Oh, that sounds great. What a great idea.
We've just changed your mind now. You've got a new goal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, blah blah. Forget everything else. Dress made of tea towels.
I feel bad that I've put goal setting on a level with buying tea towels. That's
No,
not really
good. Everybody's
That's not
goals are
quite the right
different,
analogy.
Kate.
Exactly.
Don't judge people's tea towel dreams.
Darren, have you got a challenge?
I mean, for me, it's still that kind of, the sort of motivation and avoiding distractions, basically just staying on track with them, It can be quite easy to set aside the goal for the day or the goal for the week and just go and play video games. Instead, that's, the sort of distractions and things like that and it can kind of then demoralize you a little bit where you think, oh, I'm not achieving that thing that I wanted to achieve, that goal I wanted to achieve, and because I'm not putting enough time into it, and it's like, well, if it's not working out, and then you just start to go down this little bit of a spiral, I find. So avoiding doing that and staying positive and, keeping the motivation up. That's kind of my biggest challenge, I think. And it's just an ongoing one. It's just part of the
It's part of
the
being
process.
human, I think,
Yeah,
isn't
yeah,
it?
absolutely. Yeah.
Things happen, things change all the time. That kind of sometimes knock you off track.
Yeah, and it's perhaps just understanding that that's part of it, and there's going to be points when you've got an ambitious goal that you're going to think, you're going to start to doubt it. It's on the vision board, it's, a mansion or whatever it might be. And then you start to think, oh, that's not going to happen. And you start to turn away from it a little bit. But then it's like, you've got to just kind of recognise that that's just a natural part of it. And, stay positive, keep focused, get the...
Yeah. That's where accountability
visualisation.
comes into play, though, isn't it? If you've got somebody to go, hold on a minute.
Absolutely.
Remember why you wanted to achieve it and kick back into that why again.
That's it. And sometimes, like, the long-term goals that I've got, both my wife and I have got, are sort of long-term. We've got the Trello board is called the Langley family long-term plan, and we both look at it, and sometimes I'm like, oh well, that probably won't happen. And then she's like, oh yeah, in another conversation, excited about that goal that we've got in the future, and it just brings me back on track. So it is that kind of accountability buddy sort of thing.
Yeah. Brilliant. That kind of, it's a bit like my silver linings, when it comes to goal setting. Because my silver lining is I now know, what I'm doing when setting goals. Yeah. And I know why I hit them when I hit them. Wow. But I also know why I don't hit them when I don't get them. And it's always down to that mindset or going off on track a little bit and not being strong enough or having the accountability to pull me back and go, yeah, there is a reason why you wanted to get that goal. So get back on track. So I love now that I've got all the strategies that I need in order to keep me focused, keep me on track for getting the goals that I really want to hit.
One of my goals is to be just 10% of Claire. If I achieve that, I'll be well happy.
Kate, you're achieving all your goals. You're doing brilliant. You are 100% you. Brilliant you. So what are your silver linings?
Silver linings. I'm just very excited about what my goals and my goal setting can achieve for me, and what I can get out of life for me and my family, and so I'm so glad I've discovered it, and through working with coaches and on business growth programs and all that kind of stuff, it's all really helped to facilitate that to happen. So the future is really exciting. And I've built a business that works for me, makes me happy, and really fulfilling, and everyone around me sort of benefits from that as well. Everyone benefits from a happy Kate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Ain't that the truth? Although I hope everyone feels all warm and fuzzy inside listening to that. Because this is why we're in business though, isn't it? This is why you start with that dream of your own, of being self-employed, so that you can have all this fun, earn the money that you want to earn, whatever that is, have all the flexibility, have the time with your family. That's why it's great to set these goals, because those are the best things to be ticking off, aren't they? Yeah. Pete, what's your silver linings?
I think it is knowing the absolute benefit of setting goals and of seeing the benefit that they're, and again, like you've said, the law of attraction kind of coming into play, that by setting them and achieving them, that just folds in. It's almost like a catch-22 of you just feel more positive, you're ready to set another one, and it just folds in. It's the silver lining is the knowledge of the absolute power of setting goals.
Beautiful. Darren, bring us home.
Oh, here you go.
I'm not sure if I can follow
Here we go.
For me, it's that sense of achievement, isn't it? So, like, at one stage, I had a dream of owning an American fridge with the big double doors.
With an ice machine.
With an ice machine, and one that does cold water and everything.
Nice.
And it was on the vision board for a while.
And now you've got two.
Now I feel my goal was somewhat under par, because we've just got the one. But no, it's there. But every time you kind of go in and grab some milk, there's a little buzz, the sense of achievement.
Crazy,
and you can a bit of pride. And I know it's, the 7 deadly sins or whatever are all about pride and all that kind of stuff being bad things, but they're not. They're great things to feel like you've achieved something, and and so everything that's kind of been ticked off on that list has given me that feeling. So now I can translate that feeling to everything else that's on the list and just visualize and imagine what it's going to be like when I achieve those goals. So yeah, it's
great. And also, at these points, when you're in business and you're having those, tough hours or tough days, it's really great to focus on all the stuff that you have achieved, because that is all you need to get yourself lifted and get back in the game. Yeah. Pick up that phone again, or go to that networking meeting, whatever it is.
Buy those tea towels.
Get that tea towel dress that you've always dreamed of, boys and girls.
If you've been good this year, Kate.
Get your letter in. Get your letter in to Father Christmas. So, guys, I hope we've all inspired you today to set some goals, get your business on track, get a nice plan for the year ahead. And if you've enjoyed listening to the podcast, please share, subscribe and review so our fellow business owners can enjoy, be inspired and always keep focused on the fun side of business too.
This has been a Monkey Pants Productions podcast.